And a pleasant good evening to you. Welcome inside Wintrust Field here in Schaumburg, Illinois, the host for the next 3 nights of baseball between the Schaumburg Boomers and the Evansville Otters. I'm Matthew Will, joining you for another edition of Otters Baseball here on the Otters Digital Network. Pleased you're joining us as the Otters have some work to do after their last few games. Otters have lost 3 of their last 4, including a series loss to the Florence Yalls to close out their weekend road trip. They've turned the page from that and are ready to face these Boomers. But first of all, some news must be addressed. This morning, it was announced that Parker Brahms, Evansville Otters starting pitcher, had his contract purchased by the Cincinnati Reds organization. From all of us here at the Evansville Otters, Parker, congratulations. We're all behind you, and we know you're going to do great things. So proud to see another Otter get his contract purchase and move on up. As soon as we know exactly what level he's going to be playing at, of course, I'll let you know, and I'll keep you up to date with his stats as he goes through the year as well. Let's get ready for baseball here from Schaumburg, though. Otters trying to find a way to kind of wipe the slate clean. They had won 9 straight games before losing 3 of their last 4, so they're desperately in need of a game that can kind of change that back into their favor. They're going to face these Schaumburg Boomers, which they have been favorable against this year. They've won 4 of the 5 contests between these two clubs thus far, and we're going to get to see 3 more between these two teams here on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday series. Unfortunately, that'll wrap up the season series with the Schaumburg Boomers. This has been a fun series all year long, so it is disappointing to not get to see the Boomers in the back half of the season. Let's waste no time before we walk you through the starting lineups. First, for the road team, the Evansville Otters. Batting first, playing right field, Elijah Mcnamee. Batting second, the first baseman, Zach Biermann. Batting third is the third baseman, J.R. Davis. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, Steven Sinsley. Batting fifth, the left fielder, Jeffrey Baez. Batting sixth is the center fielder, Miles Gordon. Batting seventh is the shortstop, George Khalil. Batting eighth is the catcher, Justin Felix. And batting ninth is the second baseman, Andy Armstrong. Manning the mound this evening for the Evansville Otters is Austin Gossman. And the starting lineups for the Schaumburg Boomers, the home team, this evening. The leadoff man is second baseman Chase Dawson, going after his record-setting triple this week. Batting second is the third baseman William Salas. Batting third, the left fielder Mike Hart. Batting fourth is the first baseman Braxton Davidson. Batting fifth, the right fielder Jordan Wiley. Batting sixth, the shortstop Alec Craig. Batting seventh, the designated hitter Blake Grant Parks. Batting eighth is the catcher Nick Odo. And batting ninth is the center fielder, Brett Milazzo. The starting pitcher for the Schaumburg Boomers this evening, Aaron Glickstein, a man that the Otters faced just a couple of weeks ago. They're just about to announce the Boomers onto the field, and we're going to sing the national anthem here from Schaumburg. We're just minutes away from first pitch between the Boomers and Otters, and it's all coming at you next on the Otters Digital Network. Don't go anywhere. First pitch is next. An absolutely beautiful rendition of our nation's national anthem, and we are ready for baseball from Schaumburg, Illinois. Another welcome into the Otters Digital Network. I'm Matthew Wilt, joining you for another edition of Otters Baseball. The Otters Digital Network, the only place you can catch the Otters at home and away every single game, 100% free, audio only. Great to have you here, and you know, the Otters are looking for some redemption. There's no two ways about it. They've lost 3 of their last 4, including the 2 losses to that Florence team that has been hungry for some wins, and they were able to pick up back-to-back ones there at Bosse Field on Saturday and Sunday night. But the pages turned, and the Otters are ready to face this Boomers team, a team that they beat 4 of the 5 times the 2 teams have played. They started about 3.5 weeks ago with a 2-game set here on a Tuesday and Wednesday night. The Otters won both of those. And then last week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, the Otters faced these Boomers there at Bosse Field for the only time this year. Evansville won the first 2 games of the series to extend their winning streak to 9 straight games. But the loss in the final game of the series to Schaumburg dropped their first game in 10. And, you know, kind of started a little rough patch for the Otters. So they'll have to kind of right the ship. And they're going to ask Austin Gossman to do that on the mound. As for the batters, Elijah Mcnamee, Zach Biermann, and J.R. Davis are going to try to kick the Otters off in the right way. It is a gorgeous evening from Schaumburg. I can't even begin to explain it here. We're sitting at about 84 degrees, a nice breeze. The sun's been in and out all day. It has just been an awesome day to play a baseball game. And we're about to do that here in just a matter of seconds. Aaron Glickstein up on the mound for the Schaumburg Boomers. The kick and delivery on the first pitch of the game, and it's fouled back into the netting for a first pitch at 6:34 p.m. And we are underway in this 3-game set. Glickstein's on the mound. Odo is behind the plate. That pitcher-catcher battery for Schaumburg is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road, or give them a call at 812-475-9000. A pitch outside evens the count at 1-1. The 1-1 to Mcnamee stays low, but he finds himself ahead of the count now at 2 balls, 1 strike. So a little time before this next pitch. And it's sent the way home by Glickstein. Man, that one stayed just a hair high. So Mcnamee's going to find himself to a 3-1 count. Biermann is standing in the on-deck circle, ready to come up next. The 3-1 outside, and it's a leadoff walk for Elijah Mcnamee. That'll bring up the first baseman, Zach Biermann. Biermann was named to the Frontier League's All-Star game for next week on Wednesday night. That was announced yesterday. He's joined by Dakota Phillips, who will not play due to an injury, Logan Sawyer, and Parker Brahms. Brahms likely will not play because he's now up at the affiliated level and will not be playing in next week's All-Star game, but he still will be recognized as a league All-Star. A swinging strike 1 for Biermann kicks off his count. The pitch just kind of works low and away on him. Mcnamee's got himself a nice lead there at first. Glickstein's going to go check on him. A nice throw over, but not quite in time. You know, Glickstein was a guy who started as a reliever this season, but he moved into the rotation with a little spot start on June 25th against Joliet. He's now 2-1 as a starter with a 2.70 ERA in 16 2/3 innings of starter work. Another throw over to first. Very close once again, but Mcnamee's back just in time. The last start for Glickstein actually came last week against these Evansville Otters. He allowed 3 runs in 6 innings there on Wednesday last week. Another throw over, and once again, Mcnamee's back in time. The game that Glickstein pitched was the one that stayed very close the entire game before George Khalil hit a solo home run in the 6th that ended up winning it for the Otters. Pitch finally comes home, and it's just a hair outside, but does catch the zone. A late call there from home plate umpire Matt Bieber, and it's an 0-2 count now for Zach Biermann. Once again, a big lead for Mcnamee. The 0-2 to Biermann. Swinging, strike 3. That will be the first out of this evening. So that'll bring up J.R. Davis, the third baseman this evening. Aaron Glickstein, before coming to this Schaumburg team, as he was signed by as a free agent in April of this year, actually played with Lake Erie last year. He was selected in the second round of the Frontier League draft by Lake Erie in 2021. He was the 23rd overall pick in that draft. He ended up playing in 31 games for Lake Erie last year, made 6 starts as well. Finished with a 5-4 record and an ERA of 4.10. Not a bad year one in the pros. First pitch to J.R. Davis. Right down the middle, called strike 1. That first pitch to Davis came after 2 separate throwovers to first. Mcnamee was back in time for both of them. Davis waiting on the 0-1 with 1 out and a runner on first. Pitch coming home. It's a cracked bat as it stays fair. They're just going to tag out J.R. Davis about halfway to first. Most of the bat went backwards, and the handle is what stayed in the hands of J.R. Davis. So a strange little play there results in a 1 unassisted putout, but it's a fielder's choice that allows Mcnamee to reach second. So now with 2 outs, Steven Sinsley, the cleanup hitter, is going to have an opportunity with a man in scoring position. This year for Steven Sinsley, batting .265, was a nominee for the All-Star game but did not get selected. He has 28 RBIs to his name, could make it 29 with something in the outfield now. Glickstein really leaned over, looking in for his first call of this at-bat. The first pitch, low and inside with the fastball, ball 1 to Steven Sinsley. A little bit of a shift on here as the second baseman, Dawson, is playing about halfway between first and second, basically shallow right field. And the shortstop, Craig, is playing right at second base. A 1-0 to Steven Sinsley. A half swing. They check down with the left side infield umpire, Dominic Longbucko, and he says he did not go around. So Sinsley's looking at a 2-0 count. Andy McCauley manning third base coaching box like usual. Billy Easley manning the first base coaching box as per usual as well. A 2-0 to Steven Sinsley. It's brought foul right back into the netting. Tell you what, this is probably my favorite surface to play on this whole year for the Otters, that being said. This is a very well-kept facility. The dirt is very nice. The grass is perfect in almost every area of this park. Has nice cut lines in it as well. Steven Sinsley's looking at a 2-1 count with 2 outs and a runner on second. Otters would love to grab themselves an early lead in this game. And Sinsley's going to call time. Didn't like the amount of time it was taken to receive the first pitch. Long wait for Sinsley before he steps back in. Glickstein's ready. The 2-1 on its way. Outside, ball 3. If Sinsley can get on, Jeffrey Baez is due up next. A man with lots of power and a man who can't hit home runs here at this ballpark. 3 balls, 1 strike. A payoff pitch of sorts is on its way home now towards Steven Sinsley. Called strike, and we're going to have a real payoff pitch. Full count now. Sinsley decided to wait it off and let him attack him. 3 balls and 2 strikes for Steven Sinsley. The pitch on the way. A half swing. Called strike 3. And the first inning will end with the Otters having a man in scoring position. We head to the bottom half of the first. Still scoreless from Schaumburg. To the bottom half of the first we go. And Austin Gossman takes to the mound for the Evansville Otters. It's Gossman on the mound, Felix behind the plate. That pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road, or give them a call at 812-475-9000. Austin Gossman enters the game with a 3-2 overall record. He has a 2.93 ERA, one of the many Otters with that ERA underneath 3.0. In his last outing, which came 1 week ago to this Schaumburg team, he received a 6-inning loss, allowing 4 runs on 7 hits. He struck out 5. In the game, he allowed a 2-run home run in the first inning, and from there on out, Schaumburg had a good control of the game. He even allowed 3 straight RBI singles with 2 outs in the third, and that was really what Schaumburg grabbed and ran with. Chase Dawson leads off the order for this Schaumburg team. Dawson has 16 triples, 1 more, and he has sole possession of the Frontier League record for triples in a season. And in case you didn't know, we're not at the All-Star break yet, and he's about to break this record. First pitch to him here is lifted high and foul. Will end up in the seating area to the left side, almost to the suites, and it's caught by a fan in one of the rows over there. Gossman has a pitch count average of about 88 pitches, and that's because walks have worked up his count so quickly that he gets to the back half of the 80s and 90s, and he's struggling to find the zone at that point. An 0-1 to Dawson. Just misses to the outside edge for ball 1. Counts evened up. Prior to that loss against Schaumburg, Gossman had gotten 2 straight wins. 1 against Lake Erie, 1 against Gateway, giving up a combined 2 earned runs on 15 hits. A 1-1 is sent foul to the right side. Gets out of play, however. It's a 1-2 count for Dawson. Gossman had about a 2.5-week stint on the injured list following that start at Lake Erie, or against Lake Erie. But he's good to go now. Defense is set up pretty much straight up all the way around. We'll introduce you to him right after this next pitch to Chase Dawson. The 1-2 on its way from Gossman. Sent down the first base line yet again, but once again, it stays too far foul. Let's walk you around the defensive alignment for the Otters. Jeffrey Baez out in left, Miles Gordon in center, Elijah Mcnamee in right field. Across the infield, J.R. Davis at third, George Khalil at short, Andy Armstrong's playing second, and Zach Biermann is your first baseman. Once again, Justin Felix behind the plate for the Otters. A 1-2 to Chase Dawson. Swinging, strike 3. And Austin Gossman's going to kick off his day with a German-American Bank strikeout. That'll bring up the third baseman, William Salas, who's batting second. Let's introduce you to the rest of the Schaumburg starters. Batting third is the left fielder, Mike Hart. Batting fourth, the first baseman, Braxton Davidson. Batting fifth is the right fielder, Jordan Wiley. Batting sixth, the shortstop, Alex Craig. Batting seventh, the designated hitter, Blake Grant Parks. Batting eighth is the catcher, Nick Odo. Batting ninth is the center fielder, Brett Milazzo. First pitch to Salas is grounded foul, straight back behind home plate into the backstop. Takes the count 0-1. And speaking of the backstop, it is probably a good 70, maybe 75 feet straight behind home plate to the backstop. So if something gets past the catcher, almost always a run is going to score if there's someone on third. The 0-1 to Salas. Just misses to the high edge. Fastball there from Gossman, and the count evens up at 1-1. Otters lined up defensively, straight up all the way around. This is a ballpark with a little bit deeper corners, and then it comes in a bit as you go around the edge. A 1-1 is sent foul to the right side out of play. In fact, the two corners are 353 on both sides. And once you go about 90 feet inwards on the wall, it comes in towards the pitcher's mound about 3 feet before it goes all the way around to the backstop. 400 straight up to center. The 1-2 to William Salas. Goes inside and actually catches Salas on the elbow. So he's going to earn himself a hit by pitch. The first base runner of the game for the Boomers. Left fielder Mike Hart will now make his way to the plate. Batting .348 on the season is Mike Hart. Hart is playing in his 7th game with the Boomers. In fact, in his very first game, his first at-bat with the Boomers was a grand slam. So he has really had nowhere to go but down, I guess, from starting that hot. But he's stayed mighty consistent. Runner on first, 1 out. Mike Hart at the plate. First pitch to him. Just misses to the outside edge for ball 1. Gossman tried to hand him the fastball. 1-0 the count for Mike Hart. Long wait. Here comes the pitch. Crank down the right field line, and it's just foul. I tell you what, if it was foul, it was only by an inch or so. So close to the first run of the game scoring there, because it almost surely would have brought home William Salas. He had a great jump towards second. A couple of games already in the book today, including a thrashing in New York. The New York Boulders defeat Tri-City 23-8. Also completed today, Florence defeated Windy City on the road 11-9. Quebec was hosting Empire State, won 7-4 in a rescheduled game. They'll play again later this evening. A 1-1 count to Hart. Outside, ball 2. Also underway this evening, Trois-Rivières hosting Ottawa. The Igos lead 2-1. It'd be a nice win for Trois-Rivières to pick up a little Canadian rivalry win. Then a whole load of games that are starting very shortly or just got underway. Get to those in just a second. The 2-1 results in a called strike on the high outside corner. Like I mentioned, Empire State and Quebec, they're about 10 minutes out from starting game 2. In the second inning, the Lake Erie Crushers hold a 3-0 lead against Joliet. And just getting started, Sussex County at New Jersey in the Battle of the Garden State, and Washington at Gateway. A 2-2 to Hart. Misses low. Washington at Gateway this midweek series, and then the Washington Wild Things head to Evansville. The Otters will meet them there for a 3-game set to conclude the unofficial first half of the season before the All-Star break. So 6 really big games on the horizon here for the Otters. A 3-2 payoff pitch to Mike Hart. Put out towards center field. Gordon chasing back towards the warning track. It's off the edge of his glove. He picks it up, the throw in towards the infield, and they'll keep the runners at second and third. It looked like Gordon had a really good read on that ball, but he extended his arm out, and it was off the top edge of it. So it'll be a double for Mike Hart that puts him at second and William Salas at third. The first baseman, Braxton Davidson, will make the way to the plate now. Davidson is batting .237 this year. He's one of the leading home run hitters on this team. He's got 10 of them. He also has 33 RBIs to his name. That's second most on the team. The first pitch to him. High outside, ball 1. Gossman trying to close out this first inning with the Otters and Boomers still scoreless. There's 1 out, runners at second and third, and an 0-1 count to Braxton Davidson. The 0-1, swinging strike 2. Davidson lost his footing in the box as well. Really swung hard at that. Defense is playing fairly deep all the way around the infield. 0-2 the count to Davidson. Gossman taking his time looking in for the sign from his catcher Felix. Finally has it. Kicks and delivers on the 0-2. Called strike 3 on the high outside corner. At least I thought it was strike 3. Apparently they had it wrong on the scoreboard. It was a 1-1 count instead of an 0-2 count. So Gossman will just have to do it again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bases half full with one on second and third. The 1-2. That's a called strike 3 and a big strikeout for Austin Gossman. To grab out number 2, it's his second German American Bank strikeout of the game. That'll bring up the right fielder Jordan Wiley. Runners on second and third. Jordan Wiley batting .267 on the season. Wiley hasn't been with the team a whole lot, as this is only his 8th start, 12th total game. Gossman taking his time before the first pitch comes home. On its way now. Ball high and outside. That's the same pitch that Gossman just got a called strike 3 on. One ball, no strikes for Jordan Wiley. There's runners at second and third. Gossman's trying to keep him stranded. The 1-0. A half swing. They check out there and say, yes, he did. And there's some disagreeing fans in the Wintrust Field seating area. I don't blame them. But that is a hard call for Dominic Longbucco to make out there near second base, as he doesn't have the greatest view in towards home plate. Plus the sun is glaring into the infield and especially the outfield. 1-1 to Wiley. A half swing. That one he definitely went at. Even if he didn't, it was a called strike 2. Gossman potentially just one pitch away from ending this half inning. And boy, would that be big for him. One ball, 2 strikes for Jordan Wiley. There's runners at second and third. The pitch on the way. Swinging strike 3. And a German American Bank strikeout ends the half inning. Gossman's able to get himself out of a double men in scoring position opportunity. And after 1 full, we are still scoreless from Schaumburg. And we welcome you back to Wintrust Field here in Schaumburg, Illinois. Just a few minutes, more than a few, 30 minutes away from downtown Chicago. Came through there this morning on our way into town. Nice to see the city for a couple of minutes. As for right now, Jeffrey Baez, Miles Gordon, and George Khalil ready to hit the plate in this half inning. The last time the Otters were here, Baez only recorded 1 out. And yes, he did play all of both games. But in those 2 games, he went a combined 10 for 11 plus 2 walks. So he actually had 13 at-bats and reached in 12 of the 13. The only one he didn't, the very last at-bat of the final game was a strikeout. Starts off with 2 swinging strikes here. The 0-2 lifted out towards right field. It looks like it could go foul, and it will end up on the berm over there. The kids will go chasing after it. Still an 0-2 count for Jeffrey Baez. Defense is set up straight up all the way around. We'll introduce you to them right after this. An 0-2 is yet again fouled out right back off the netting. Mike Hart is in left field. In center, Brett Milazzo, and in right, Jordan Wiley across the infield. William Solis at third base. Alec Craig at short. Chase Dawson at second. And Braxton Davidson plays first. Nick Odo behind the plate. Pitch sent right back up the middle off the glove of Glickstein. The throw to first is not in time. And Baez is going to get himself an infield single to kick off the second. That'll bring up Miles Gordon, the center fielder, batting all the way down in the 6th hole this evening for the Otters. Gordon's got a runner on first, no outs. Second straight inning, the Otters have gotten their leadoff man on. Long wait here before Gordon steps in. First pitch to Gordon. He's showing bunt, and he just gets over the top of it, bunts it back towards the catcher. It is Military Appreciation Day here from Schaumburg. All military personnel, former, current, all got on free this evening. And their families got discounted tickets as well. An 0-1 to Miles Gordon. There goes Baez trying to steal. Gordon skies one out towards right field. It's going deep, and it's brought in by the right fielder, Wiley. And Baez will make his way back to first. Like I said, Military Appreciation Night here from the Schaumburg Boomers. And here at the Evansville Otters, we want to join them in saying thank you to every single service member, whether that be at home or abroad, right now or past, or even future if you're getting ready to do something that involves serving our country. We all thank you so much for everything you do for this country. And unfortunately, a baseball game is such a small token that we can pay back to you guys, but we hope that this can suffice for right now. George Khalil at the plate now, takes a first pitch strike on the outside edge. Khalil got really hot about a week and a half ago, hit 3 home runs in a 3-game set, and has since started to cool off just a bit, but he's still still hitting lots of, consistent opportunities at the plate. A lot of multi-hit games for him as well. In fact, he's got himself out to 10 multi-hit outings. He joins 5 other Otters who have double-digit multi-hit outings. Zach Biermann's got 11. Davis, Gordon, and Mcnamee all have 13, and Steven Sinsley has 11. Quickly an 0-2 count for George Khalil with a runner on first and 1 out. Well, he needs to find a way to move the runner with this pitch here. 0-2 stays high. That one's all right. Don't forget that tomorrow's game is very different. An 11 a.m. first pitch here from Wintrust Field. About 10:50 is when we'll get kicked off with the pregame show here on the Otters Digital Network. So you might have to set the alarm tomorrow and maybe throw us on while you're at work. Pitch stays low for ball 2, and Khalil's got himself out to an even count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 runner on, 1 runner out. Little breeze blowing out towards right field right now. As a 2-2 heads home to Khalil. It's lifted high, foul, and out towards the parking lot. The count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes. If you're still hanging around Evansville this week, the USSSA softball team is in town for a 3-game set facing off against the Vipers. They're at Bosse Field. Game 1, I believe, is going on right now, but they play again tomorrow night and Thursday night. 2-2 to Khalil. Again sent foul to the netting. If you want to get tickets for any of those USSSA games, go to EvansvilleOtters.com and click on the USSSA banner there, and then you'll be able to be redirected and grab tickets. It's a great event, some very high-level athletes. And what better way to enjoy the week without Otters home baseball than going out to the ballpark for that, especially tomorrow. 2-2 is again fouled, but it's off the leg of Khalil, and he'll take a step out to walk around. Again, tomorrow the Otters play at 11 a.m. here from Wintrust Field. And they'll play at 6:30 to conclude the set on Thursday night here in Schaumburg before making the trip home to face the Washington Wild Things for a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. 2 balls, 2 strikes for George Khalil. He's got a runner on first and 1 out. He's done really well to extend this at-bat to where it's at. Now he's just got to win it. The 2-2. Zoomed foul to the left side towards the Otters dugout. And the count remains 2-2. 5 straight foul balls here for George Khalil. Big deep breath on the look in from Glickstein on the mound. He'll go throw over to get Baez, and he does. Picks off Baez over on first. And just like that, that's the Otters' second out of the inning. Baez had been thrown on a couple of times over there. Must have got just a little too big of a lead. The 2-2 to Khalil. Pushed to the right side, picked up by Davidson. He'll throw to Glickstein, who stands on first for the third out. Otters get the leadoff man on, but a pickoff over there retires him. A couple other outs get the inning over quickly, and after 1.5, we're still scoreless here from Schaumburg. To the bottom of the second we go. Still scoreless from Schaumburg. The battle between Gossman and Glickstein tonight on the 2 mounds. Well, despite allowing a hit by pitch and a double in that first inning, Austin Gossman does end up striking out all 3 outs he got. Alec Craig heads to the plate to lead off this half inning. Long waits for Gossman to ready himself up on the bump. First pitch headed his way. Stays a bit low. for ball one to kick it off. 3 German-American bank strikeouts already for Austin Gossman. A 1-0 on the way home to Alex Craig. Stays a bit inside, and it's a 2-0 count. Gossman was one of the Otters that was nominated for the All-Star game, but did not receive a selection. He and Jacob Bowles were both of the other Otters pitchers who received nominations, but didn't quite grab enough votes to grab spots on the team. 2 balls, 1 strike for Alex Craig. Craig will be followed by Grant Parks and Odo here in the second inning. Boomers had runners on second and third with 1 out last half inning. Back-to-back Ks from Gossman got himself out of the inning. He's looking to do the same sort of thing here. The 2-1. Called strike 2, and the count's evened up. Lake Erie has just opened the floodgates in the second inning on Joliet. They lead 6-1 over the Slammers. Lake Erie put work in early. A 2-2 to Craig. Skied out to the left side, foul. Will end up on the concourse up there. Looks like a kid's going to get himself a souvenir. Sussex County in the first inning has hopped out to a 3-0 lead at New Jersey in the Battle of the Garden State there. Washington in the first inning is up 2-1 at Gateway. They're still in the bottom of the first as we speak. A 2-2 to Alec Craig. Sitting bouncing towards Biermann at first. He'll play it with one hand. The throw to Gossman and race to first is won by Gossman. 3-1 officially the putout for out number 1.
Now batting for the Boomers, designated number 29, Blake Grant Parks.
Blake Grant Parks, the designated hitter this evening for the Boomers, at the plate now. Grant Parks is entering the game with a .232 average. He's got 16 hits so far for the Boomers in his 21 games. Of the 16, exactly half of them are doubles. The first pitch to Blake Grant Parks is low outside. Didn't miss the zone by much. Had a little movement back towards the center of the plate at the very end, but not quite enough. Gossman taking his time up there on the bump. Nods his head. Now fires home on a 1-0. Again outside. It's a 2-0 count. You might hear some of these small planes flying over the top of us. We're right next to a smaller little regional airport. A lot of personal-sized planes. 2-1 to Grant Parks. Sitting bouncing to the left side of the infield. Picked up by Khalil. The throw over to first in time. Tell you what, George Khalil has become one of the best shortstops I've ever had the pleasure of seeing. That one he called off the third baseman, J.R. Davis. Davis hit the deck so that Khalil could throw over the top of him. Khalil beat the runner by a whole bunch on the throw. Nick Odo, the catcher, on his way to the plate. Batting .207 as our series begins here. Long wait before his first pitch. It's on the way. Called strike 1 right down the middle. Odo has the third most strikeouts on the team with 37. Has struggled to stay really consistent at the plate. 0-1, the pitch to Nick Odo. Zoomed out to right field, down for a base hit. Mcnamee will get to it in time to hold it to just one base. But that is a hard hit ball by Nick Odo for the second hit of the game for the Boomers. So the 9-hole hitter, Brett Milazzo, will make his way to the plate now. 2 outs, runner on first. The 9-hole hitter Milazzo is going to try to extend the inning for the Boomers. Long wait before the first pitch to him. Gossman nods, sends it home. It's sent foul back towards the Schaumburg dugout. So the count falls to 0-1. Oh, 1 count to Brett Milazzo. Pitch on the way. He showed bunt for a second, pulled away, but it's a called strike 2. Wintrust Field here in Schaumburg, Illinois was used as the Chicago White Sox alternate location back during the 2020 season when instead of COVID squads, they had the alternate squads there in the MLB. Hit right back up the middle, gets through everyone into center field for a base hit. Gossman just couldn't get down quick enough towards it. Went just under his glove and just barely beat Andy Armstrong out there at second. Back-to-back singles have runners on first and second. And we head back to the top of the order where Chase Dawson heads to the plate. 0 for 1 with a strikeout. So the Otters will all kind of head to normal locations around the infield now. Still waiting on the first pitch to Dawson. It's on the way now. Slider stayed a bit high outside. 4-1. Runner on first and second. 2 outs. Chase Dawson at the plate. A dangerous bat at the plate, by the way. The 1-0. High outside yet again. This is a big out for Austin Gossman to grab here. Two balls, no strikes for Chase Dawson. Gossman fires home. Oh boy, a hefty foul ball right into the ankle of Dawson, and he'll take a couple of seconds to walk that one off. Dawson still limping a bit on that right foot, and they're actually going to probably bring the trainer out at this point. The coaching staff is starting to walk a little bit closer towards him, and he's still in some pain. He's nodding and saying, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, still kind of walking around. So Dawson's ready to go. 2-1 is the count towards him. Gossman fires home. It's sent down the right field line, just a hair foul. The foul ball ends up on the berm hill over there in right field. Tough play for a kid out there. Took it off the ground and into the stomach. But he, used the glove to catch it well into his stomach, chest area. Will make a good second baseman. Deuces are wild out on the field. 2-2 count with 2 outs and 2 on. Big pitch here for Gossman. It's on the way. A called strike 3. And Austin Gossman has gotten himself out of another jam early. After 2 full innings, we are still scoreless from Wintrust Field at Schaumburg. I tell you what, it is a beautiful night for baseball here at Wintrust Field in Schaumburg, Illinois. I'm pleased you're joining us here on the Otters Digital Network. Again, I'm Matthew Will, bringing you every single Evansville Otters game right here on the Otters Digital Network. We'll be here for the next couple of days as well. I say days because tomorrow is not a night game. We play at 11 a.m. here at Wintrust Field. So get up, get the cup of coffee ready to go, and join us for some midday baseball here on the Otters Digital Network.
Leading up third for the Otters, catcher number 5, Justin Felix.
Justin Felix is going to kick off the half inning for the Otters. He'll be followed by Andy Armstrong and Elijah Mcnamee. Felix now steps in and he's ready for the first offering of this half inning. First offering to him is a called strike on the low outside corner. An 0-1 stays low, so the count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. A 1-1 to Felix. Swinging strike 2, and he finds himself down in the count. Felix donning a darker colored, almost looks maroon colored bat with a bright powder blue wrapping on the handle of it. The 1-2 coming towards him. Stays a bit high outside. The count evens up at 2-2. The 2-2 stays outside again, and Felix has got himself out to a full count. Still a breeze blowing out towards right field this evening. Not gusting, but consistent wind. As Felix watches the 3-2 come home, and it's a called strike 3 on the outside edge. And Felix is obviously frustrated with that one. It's the 3rd strikeout of the day for Glickstein. That'll bring up Andy Armstrong, the 9-hole hitter and second baseman for the Otters. And there might not be anyone as fun to watch in this last 10 games as Andy Armstrong. He's got himself a .314 batting average in the last 10 games. An 0-1 stays inside and evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. Defense is played straight up all the way around for Armstrong. He lifts the 1-1 out towards right field. Wiley's chasing in towards it and brings it in for out number 1. Sorry, out number 2. Back around to the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game we go for the right fielder, Elijah Mcnamee. He earned himself a leadoff walk in the first, advanced to second on a fielder's choice, but was stranded there. Glickstein walks up the bump, fires home the first pitch, a curveball that misses inside. So that was a nice pitch from Glickstein, just didn't get the call to go his way. The 1-0. His ball lifted high and foul to the right side, will get up out of play and in the seating area. There's 1 ball and 1 strike for Elijah Mcnamee. 2 outs, nobody on. If Mcnamee fails to get on, it'll be the first inning the Otters have not got a base runner on this game. He takes a called strike at the knees, and he's down 1-2 in the count. For a long time, Mcnamee was rocking an on-base streak. It hit 36 before it was broken. The 1-2. Sent foul back into the netting by Mcnamee, and he'll live to see at least one more pitch. Taking his time up on the bump to get reset is Aaron Glickstein. Glickstein kicks and delivers on the 1-2. It's sent out towards right center field. Chasing in is Wiley, and it drops in front of him for a 2-out base hit for Elijah Mcnamee. That ball carried, but it's almost like Wiley called everyone off out there in right field, because the second baseman, Dawson, probably could have made it, but before it came down, he just took a big detour to the left side, almost to get out of the way of Wiley, so he must have got just called off the pitch, or off the ball. So Zach Biermann's at the plate now with 2 outs and a runner on first. Last time these Otters were in town, he had a 3-home run day. That tied a Frontier League record for home runs in a single game. And in fact, they were all solo home runs. The 1-0 on its way to Zach Biermann. Hefty swing on a pitch that was a bit low and outside. The count evens up. Decent crowd here on a beautiful Tuesday evening for baseball. We have certainly lucked into this night. Does not feel like mid-July. The 1-1 for Zach Biermann. Works inside on him. He has to kind of get his elbows out of the way. It's ball 2. Glickstein leaning way over and looking in for his sign. Has it for the 2-1. Pitch on the way. 2-1 belted out towards right center field. Wiley chasing back towards the warning track, and it bounces over the wall. A ground rule double for Zach Biermann. It surely would have been a triple for him that scored Elijah Mcnamee, but instead he'll have to live with a double. That was an incredible hop that ball got. This is not a turf field. This is an all-natural grass out there. That's probably a 12-foot wall that it hopped. Well, back-to-back base hits have runners on second and third with 2 outs, and J.R. Davis will try to be the hero and give the Otters an early lead. Hard hit ball there from Zach Biermann, but just not quite enough. First pitch is low and outside for Davis. If for some reason Davis made it on base and didn't bring in a run, then Steven Sinsley would get a bases loaded opportunity. Davis takes a called strike at the knees to even the count at 1-1 Steven Sinsley is over in the on deck circle now. A 1-1 to Davis. Right back up the middle, down for a base hit. They're going to send Biermann home. The throw to the plate, there's going to be a play at home. No, it's cut off by the pitcher up there. And 2 runs are going to score on an RBI single from J.R. Davis. Just when it looked like the Otters were going to get scored on in both the first and second innings, they're the ones who score the first runs. 2-0 Otters in the top of the third inning on a 2-run single from J.R. Davis. That'll bring up Steven Sinsley, now with a runner on first and 2 outs. The wind is in favor to help Sinsley carry a ball, not just out of here, but probably into the trees out there. If he gets a pitch he likes, he can really smash him to right field. When there's a little breeze behind him, it just makes it easier on him. First pitch to Sinsley of the at-bat is actually sent to the left side and foul off the netting. All for strike 1. Boomers are 4-time Frontier League champions, their most recent coming last year. They went back-to-back in 13 and 14. And then sandwiched in between all of that was a 2017 title. And I tell you what, better have them on your radar for this year's title as well. This is a good Schaumburg team. No balls, 1 strike to Steven Sinsley. This pitch on its way. Stays inside, and his count evens up. It's a good take. Sinsley digging back in. Looking at a 1-1 count with a runner on first and 2 outs. A 1-1. Way outside, and Sinsley's ahead in the count now. Otters lead by a pair of runs here in the third now, after the 2-run single from J.R. Davis. Sinsley waiting on a 2-1. They're going to go check over there on Davis. He's back in time, but not by much. Glickstein has such a quick turn and throw. It is very dangerous for runners. And now that you've gotten yourself a narrow lead, just keep that runner close. If you're Davis, you certainly do not want to get picked off here. Don't end this little rally the Otters have. A 2-1 to Sinsley. Stays inside, and he has got himself a big lead in the count, 3-1. Sinsley can't exactly expect a strike here, as a lot of the times Sinsley is a guy that you'd rather give a walk to than a hanging strike, if you will. The 3-1 to Sinsley. Cranks it out to right field. Wiley back towards the wall. That ball is gone. And just like that, the lead doubles. Been a while since he had one, but now Steven Sinsley's got 10. A 2-run shot to right field. And what feels like the first time in a long time, not only have the Otters taken the lead, but they've given themselves some buffer room, and it's a lead that feels like they have momentum in a game. I tell you what, that was launched off the bat. He probably could have been hitting into a straight headwind and would have been able to knock it out there. Jeffrey Baez at the plate now, starts with a ball outside. Otters lead has just doubled on the 2-run home run from Steven Sinsley. They now lead 4-0. Next pitch into Baez. Goes across at the knees and evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. A 1-1 bounces in, gets away from the catcher Odo. And Baez takes the lead in the count once again, 2-1 now. Ball cranked out towards left. Chasing back his heart towards the warning track, and he brings it in for out number 3, but not before the Otters put quite the 2-out rally in. A single and then a double set up a J.R. Davis 2-run single. Steven Sinsley then sent one out of the park, a 2-run home run that put up the Otters 4-0 after 2.5 innings. We head to the bottom half of the third right after this. We go to the bottom of the third. William Salas is looking to kick off the comeback for the Boomers as they now trail 4-0 to the Evansville Otters. J.R. Davis gave the Otters their first 2 runs on a 2-run single. Then Steven Sinsley launched a ball out to right field for a 2-run home run, his 10th home run of the season. It lifted the Otters up to a 4-run lead. First pitch to Salas, called strike on the outside edge. Otters and Boomers are meeting for the final time this season in this 3-game set. Thursday will be the final meeting of the year. 0-1 to Salas. Sent foul to the right side, will end up out towards the parking lot. No balls, 2 strikes quickly to William Salas. Gossman looking to close out another at-bat early. The 0-2. Zoom to the left side. It is sent towards the Otters dugout. Just about went off of an Otter before it's bounced into the seating area. And the dad made a nice catch. Gifted a kid there with a little souvenir. Count remains at 0-2, though, for William Salas. Gossman kicks and delivers on the 0-2. It bounces in on the outside edge for ball 1. Gossman already has himself 4 strikeouts in the game, including 3 strikeouts in the first inning. Defense lined up straight up all the way around for the Otters as William Salas steps back in. The 1-2 high outside. The count's evened up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Otters are in their road grays with the script Evansville written across the chest in blue. The blue numbers on the back. They're in the full blue caps with the gray bills. A 2-2 towards William Salas. Sent foul to the right side, out of play. Another one that ends up towards the parking lot. The Boomers are in their home whites. White tops, white bottoms with orange lettering on the front with block lettering Boomers written across the chest. And they've got black lettering on the back, or black numbering on the back. A 2-2 to William Salas. High inside pitch, challenging pitch there from Gossman, but he's not able to convince Salas to bite. The count now heads to full. 3-2 the count. As the pitch heads home to Salas. Right back up the middle, past the glove of Gossman. Out into center field, and it's a hard-earned leadoff single for William Salas, his second time on base today. That'll bring up Mike Hart, who earned himself a double in the first inning. However, he was stranded at second. Runner on first is William Salas. Salas on the season, 10 of 13 on stolen base attempts, so you got to keep an eye on him. First pitch is sent sharply foul towards the Boomers' dugout. No balls, 1 strike to Mike Hart. They have got a runner on first with no outs. Here to kick off the bottom half of the third, right after the Otters put up 4 runs of their own in the top half of the third. An 0-1 is half swung on. They check down, or they don't check down. It's just a declared called strike by the home plate umpire, Matt Beaver. So it's an 0-2 count for Mike Hart. Hart ready at the plate. The 0-2. Comes in and hits him on the ankle. And Gossman went from 0-2 in the last at-bat to a single, and now this at-bat an 0-2 to a hit by pitch. So Braxton Davidson's going to make his way to the plate with runners on first and second and no outs. Gossman's got to find a way to get himself out of this little jam and keep the Otters' lead where it's at. One of the few times this last week that the Otters have had themselves a convincing lead. Sure don't want to see him hand it away. First pitch to Davidson. Crank to the right side. Played into the glove of Biermann. To second for one. Back to first. Out of the glove of Gossman. And they'll only get one out. Officially, it'll be 3-6 on the fielder's choice that allows Davidson to reach. Hart will be stopped on his way to second. Salas reaches third. I imagine they'll also assign an error probably in the side of Gossman potentially. The right fielder Jordan Wiley heads to the plate now. He struck out his first time up. First option to him in this at-bat, a hefty swinging strike one. Eyes were a bit filled with glory there. They're actually going to say that an error allowed Davidson to reach. And there'll be a fielder's choice also. So 0-1 is the count as the pitch comes home to Jordan Wiley. Sent foul back into the netting, and it's another 0-2 count. No balls, 2 strikes for the right fielder Wiley. There's runners on the corners and 1 out. Gossman wants a strikeout here or something on the ground that they could turn 2 with. Keep this game where it's at. A 4-0 advantage for the Otters. 0-2 works way inside and almost hits Wiley. So it's a 1-2 count. Gossman got himself a couple of early strikes, just like he's done multiple at-bats in this half inning. Now he's got to close it out. The 1-2 to Wiley. Big curveball stays high and outside. Just like that, the count's even up at 2-2. Gossman still looking in for his sign. Finally nods. The 2-2 is on its way home. Sent on the ground to the right side. Picked up by Armstrong. To second for one. Back to first. Is it in time? Yes, it is. And the Otters get themselves out of another jam. This one on a 4-6-3 double play. And that one is huge to keep this game where it's at. We've played 3 full. Otters still lead 4-0. Top of the fourth to you. Otters lead 4-0 after that third inning where they put together 4 straight hits with 2 outs. J.R. Davis's 2-run single brought in the first 2. Steven Sinsley's 2-run home run capitalized the inning. First pitch to Miles Gordon of this at-bat is sent foul to the left side. It'll go out towards the road that sits right here next to Wintrust Field. Don't forget that the Otters and Boomers still have 2 more games in this series. 11 a.m. tomorrow is game 2. 6:30 Thursday night is when the series, not just the 3-game series, but the whole season series, concludes before these for these 2 teams. Oh, 2 the count for Miles Gordon. Hefty wind blowing out towards right center, by the way. The 0-2 is skied up and fouled to the left side, chasing in his Hart. And he actually makes the play in fair territory. He got a little help back towards in play. And it's a long out number 1. It'll bring up the shortstop, George Khalil, who grounded out to the first baseman his first time up. Defense is played very deep and very centered around everywhere on the diamond. First pitch to Khalil's a called strike, barely on the outside edge. No balls, 1 strike for Khalil. He pulls the ball to the left side. It's well foul, however. And Andy McCauley will toss that ball into the front row and make a kid's night. Quickly an 0-2 count for George Khalil. He's got to find a way to come from behind in the count. The 0-2. Ooh, boy. Close to a called strike 3. Stayed right at elbow level on the outside corner, but it's just handed out as ball 1. The 1-2. That one stays low. Khalil's opted to let a couple of pitches go by, and he's got himself a even 2-2 count. 2-2's on the way. Lifted high and foul to the right side, gets out of play, and actually lands on the roof of one of the suites over there. Evansville is hosting the USSSA Pride this week as well, the softball games. Swinging strike 3 from George Khalil is going to sit him down without number 2. If you would like to go watch some USSSA softball, go to EvansvilleOtters.com and click on the link that you see of them. You can get your tickets to go watch some softball at Bosse Field. The first game of the week is tonight, but they have games tomorrow and Thursday as well. So if you want a chance to go watch some very high-level athletes play right here in Evansville, I guess right there in Evansville, you can. Right there at Bosse Field even. Then the Otters will be back in town for a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series with the Washington Wild Things to kick off the first half, or to conclude the first half of the season for the All-Star break. 0-1 to Felix, stays outside. The count evens up at 1-1. Felix's first time up results in a strikeout looking. The 1-1. Lifted high, foul, straight back, and will get out towards the concourse. One ball, 2 strikes for Felix. Just looking to stay alive in the count. He worked an 0-2 out to a 3-2 his last time up, but still struck out. Long wait from Glickstein. The 1-2. Swinging strike 3, and it's a 3-up, 3-down inning for the Otters. We've played 3.5 innings. Otters still lead by 4. As we head to the bottom of the fourth inning, I want to remind you that Frontier League Baseball right here on the Otters Digital Network is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. We're going to take a look through the Fox Sports WYFX Frontier League scoreboard as we go through this next half inning. Alec Craig is going to kick us off. Gossman readies himself to get back up on the bump. Gossman is in need of a 1-2-3 inning to keep the spirits up. Has had to really battle in these last couple of innings. First pitch, line down to the right field, down for a base hit. It's picked up by Mcnamee, and they had pushed Craig towards second. A good thing they kept him at first, as he would have been out by a mile. Good throw from Mcnamee into second. So one up, one on. All on one pitch. The designated hitter, Blake Grant Parks, heads to the plate. Grounded out to the shortstop his first time up. But now he's got an opportunity with nobody out and a runner on first. The first pitch home, called strike right down the middle for Blake Grant Parks. Alec Craig has himself a good lead over at first. Craig is 19 of 24 on stolen base attempts this year. The 0-1 way outside. Good stop by Felix. Keep the count even. So everyone's playing at double play positioning for the Otters, except for Biermann, of course, having to keep the runner close to first. The 1-1. Pushed out towards right field, and it's down for a base hit in front of Mcnamee. He'll pick it up. The runners will go to first and second with no outs for the second straight inning.
Now the Boomers catcher number 24, Odo.
And just like that, Schaumburg's had at least two runners on in every inning thus far. Nick Odo making his way to the plate now. He singled his first time up back in the second, but he was stranded at second. Gossman ready to go on the first pitch of the at-bat. Odo swings and misses on a pitch that broke low and away. Good-sized crowd here in Schaumburg this evening. Even better weather. Low 80s, a little bit of a breeze. Sun's been out. The 0-1 coming home. And it is just weakly fouled back into the netting behind home plate. Quickly an 0-2 count for Nick Odo. Empire State and Quebec are tied at 1 run apiece in the fourth inning. That game taking place in Quebec. Joliet trailing Lake Erie 8-1 in the fifth inning. Big lead for the Crushers. 0-2 is the count for Nick Odo. Pitch on the way. Lifted up towards center field. Miles Gordon chasing over towards it. He will bring it in for out number one. The throw to second will keep one runner at bay, but it's not technically a sacrifice fly, but Craig is going to advance to third on the fly ball. That'll bring up the 9-hole center fielder Brett Milazzo. He also had a single his last time up. In the battle for the Garden State, the Sussex County Miners hold a 6-1 lead at New Jersey in the bottom of the third. And the other game taking place this evening in the bottom of the third, the Washington Wild Things hold a 3-2 lead at Gateway. Milazzo ready at the plate. Gossman taking his time. Here comes the first pitch to Milazzo. Called strike one on the outside edge. Boy, would this be another huge inning for Gossman to get himself out of. Just like last inning, a double play could end it. The 0-1 to Milazzo. And it's sent foul, grounded along to the Otters dugout. 0-2 the count for Brett Milazzo. Runners on the corners. 1 out in the bottom of the fourth. Gossman's pitch count is nearing 70 at this point. The 0-2 is coming home. This one sent out towards left field. Chasing in is Baez. He brings it in for out number 2. There goes the runner home. The throw home. Perfect throw, and he's out at the plate. Then the throw out to second was not needed. Justin Felix saw the runner going and was a bit confused. Didn't matter, though. Jeffrey Baez now has 6 outfield assists on the season. Not sure when people will learn not to run on Jeffrey Baez. He's taken another victim. And after 4 innings, the Otters lead 4-0 on the Otters Digital Network. We head to the 5th inning here on the Otters Digital Network. And the Otters lead 4-0 over the Schaumburg Boomers on a beautiful Tuesday evening from Schaumburg, Illinois. Glad you're spending your Tuesday evening here with us. First pitch to Andy Armstrong to kick off the inning. Zoom down the left field line. Down for a base hit. It's going to be extra for Andy. There he goes to second. And he's going to crank towards third. Now he puts the brakes on. That ball rolled all the way to the corner, in the left field corner, and Andy Armstrong's got himself a leadoff first pitch double. I tell you what, he crushed that ball down the left field line. Back to the top of the order we go, where the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Elijah Mcnamee, heads to the plate. Defense is all playing halfway with no outs and a runner at second. The first pitch to Elijah Mcnamee. On the way home. Way inside, he had to jump out of the way. Mcnamee riding a 1-0 count with no outs and a runner at second. Pitch headed home. He puts it out towards the right side. It's going to be foul, and just about getting there was Braxton Davidson, but it was a tough play for him. Would have been marvelous if he could get there. Would have been one of the best catches you'd seen. So the count evens up at 1-1 strike for Elijah Mcnamee. He's got a runner out there at second that he could bring home with something in the outfield. 1-1 coming home. Called strike 2. The changeup just sat in there. Kind of looked like Mcnamee was just waiting on the pitch to finally cross the zone. The 1-2 works high and inside. Did it hit Mcnamee? And they're calling him out. He's saying he got hit in the hands, and that's why he dropped the bat and ran off, because he had gotten hit. But he gets tagged, and they called him out. And here comes Mandy out to check on Mcnamee. And the umps are going to meet about it. Mcnamee took the pitch high and inside. They're going to stick with their out call. Mcnamee took the pitch high and inside. It went off his hand. He dropped the bat and kind of took a few steps backwards to get out of the way. But running home was Glickstein off the mound, and he goes ahead and tags Mcnamee, and it's a called out number 1. Mcnamee obviously upset as he's receiving treatment right now from the trainer, Mandy Flake, while the headman, Andy McCauley, is giving his thoughts as well. So now the Otters will bring Mcnamee into the dugout, where he'll probably get a second look. Rightfully so, he's upset, and Andy McCauley is giving his thoughts as well still as he walks down the third base line. They're scoring it as Mcnamee grounded out to the pitcher, but that pitch stayed in foul territory, which is the big confusing part there. Regardless, there is 1 out. First pitch from Biermann, sent out towards left center field. Milazzo is underneath it, grabs it for out number 2. Trying to advance to third is Armstrong, and he does on the fly ball from Biermann. That'll bring up the third baseman, J.R. Davis, who's 1 for 2 with a 2-run single that gave the Otters the lead. And then he also grounded into a fielder's choice in the first. Defense playing straight up now as Davis has an opportunity to grab his 3rd RBI of the day. If he could, it'd be his second 3 RBI game in the last week. First offering on the way home. Called strike 1 at the knees. One ball, no strikes to J.R. Davis. Sorry, 0-1. They just have the scoreboard wrong. That one stays low, and the count evens up at 1 ball, 1 strike. Two outs and a runner on third. Pitch gets between the legs of Odo, and coming home to score is Andy Armstrong. Otters grab an insurance run on a pass ball. Two-one now the count for J.R. Davis with 2 outs. And nobody on after Armstrong was able to score on the pass ball. And actually, they have just changed it to a wild pitch in the official scoring. Pitch comes home a bit outside, and Davis now leads the count 3-1. If Davis can get on, Steven Sinsley standing on deck. He's already hit 1 home run on the day. The 3-1 to Davis. Way outside, ball 4. Davis is going to earn himself a walk.
Now hitting for the Otters, designated hitter number 21,
Steven Sinsley heads to the plate now. 1 for 2 on the day. A strikeout looking in the first, one that he was very upset about. Well, he backed it up well with a 2-run home run in the third that doubled the Otters' lead from 2 to 4. He does still have quite the breeze blowing out towards right field, and it's the exact same scenario as last time. 2 outs, 1 runner on, and that's Davis at first. Again, the breeze out to right. First pitch to him, and he fouls it back into the netting. Don't forget that the Otters and Boomers continue their series tomorrow, but it's at 11 a.m., so don't miss it. First pitch, 11 a.m. Pre-game show will start right about 10:50 here on the Otters Digital Network. The 0-1 to Steven Sinsley. Stays outside for ball 1. I relied on the scoreboard there for a second. I'm sorry. They still have J.R. Davis's name and photo up there. Sinsley's looking at a 1-ball, 1-strike count with 2 outs and a runner on first. The 1-1 to Steven. Outside, ball 2. Glickstein's certainly not wanting to put anything up in the high edge of the zone now, because that's what happened when Sinsley saw his last one. The 2-1 for Steven Sinsley. He got that one where he wanted it, but just foul tipped it into the glove of Nick Odo. And the deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 1 on. The 2-2 headed home. This one's cranked high and foul to the left side. Will get out of play and end up in the seating area. And everyone will take a second. Stepping back up onto the mound finally is Aaron Glickstein. And now he steps off and re-goes through. He's back up there for the 2-2 count with 2 outs and 1 on. Pitch on the way to Sinsley. Skied out towards center field. Chasing back is Milazzo towards the warning track, and that's out number 3. Otters are able to add to their lead with a run scoring on a wild pitch. We've played through 4.5. It's Evansville 5, Schaumburg 0. Chase Dawson makes his way to the plate as we kick off the bottom half of the 5th inning here on the Otters Digital Network. Pleased you're joining us for a beautiful night of baseball from Schaumburg, Illinois. Otters are currently leading 5-0 after they score an insurance run on a wild pitch. They're in the top half of the 5th. Chase Dawson has concluded his chase for history, and now he's one triple away from claiming the all-time record for triples in a single season. And we're not even at the All-Star break. He's got 16 triples. That ties a record that had been held for 15 years by a man from that 07 Washington team. 0-1's the count to Dawson. There's nobody on and no outs here in the bottom half of the fifth. The 0-1. A half swing, and it's a called strike. Dawson's not too happy with it, but he immediately steps back up. He's ready to see another pitch. This one an 0-2. Gossman has himself ready. The 0-2. Ooh, just missed on the outside edge. Nice pitch there from Gossman. Trying to convince the hard-hitting second baseman Dawson to go chase it. Here comes the 1-2. Skied out towards center field. Chasing back is Gordon. Back towards the warning track, and he hauls it in for out number 1. A long run for Miles Gordon.
Now batting for the Boomers, third baseman, number 11, Will Salas.
It's one of the things that makes this Otters defense so good, especially out there in right and center field, is the sheer speed of Gordon and Mcnamee. They can haul down a lot of baseballs. Actually, earlier in the game when Gordon had the one go off the top of his glove, it was one of the few times we've seen him not get to a ball in time. William Salas now up. He's reached in both of his first two opportunities. Once on a hit by pitch, once on a single. First pitch he sees here. Grounds right back up the middle, and it's grabbed by Gossman. Nice little snag there. Toss over to first is in time for out number 2. Officially a 1-3 put out as the left fielder Mike Hart makes his way to the plate. He's also reached base in both of his opportunities. A double in the first, hit by pitch in the third. Defense will play a little bit of a shift in the outfield, but straight up in the infield, just trying to maximize their range. They can make a play here. Hart ready for the first pitch towards him. He sends it right back up the middle. Khalil will rush in, make the run, the throw in time for out number 3. What a solid defensive play from Khalil, and it's the first 3-up, 3-down inning of the day that the Otters defense has forced. We head to the 6th. Otters lead by 5. To the top of the 6th we go. Jeffrey Baez, Miles Gordon, and George Khalil due up. as the Otters currently hold a 5-0 lead here at Schaumburg. This is a ballpark they've had success out so far this year. They won the opening 2 games that they played here in a quick 2-game set a few weeks ago. And they're off to the same start here. First pitch to Baez. Curveball that falls out of the zone at the last second for ball 1. 1-0 headed to Baez. Outside ball 2. Gossman's done a good job to get himself out of some tough scenarios. The defense has done a better job to help bail him out. A ground and a double play in the third really saved things, as well as a couple of strikeouts from Gossman's part in the first. Baez skies one behind home plate. Odo's running towards it, but it'll get into the seating area about 3 rows up. There are 2 balls and 1 strike. For Jeffrey Baez. No outs, nobody on, kicking off the 6th inning here. And here comes the 2-1. Zoom down the third base line, past the third baseman Salas. And Jeffrey Baez has got himself a leadoff single in the 6th. Good for his second base hit of the day. The 7th for the Otters. Miles Gordon, the center fielder, making his way to the plate now. Miles Gordon on the day, a fly out to right and a fly out to left. Has yet to find first base successfully. First pitch home, he bunts to the left side. It's picked up by Glickstein. The throw to first, just barely in time for out number 1. But it's a successful sacrifice bunt for Miles Gordon. George Khalil will head to the plate next. And as expected, the entire Otters dugout is right there at the entrance, clapping and applauding Gordon as he comes back down into the dugout. George Khalil stepping in now, 0 for 2 with a ground out to first and a strikeout so far to his day. First offering on the way home to Khalil. There's a called strike on the high outside corner. Looks like we do have a man starting to warm up for Schaumburg, but because their bullpens actually, their pitchers face us here at the press box, we can't really see numbers, so it'll be hard for me to tell exactly who is warming up down there. An 0-1 to Khalil. Sent high, but not very deep. It's going to stay in the infield. In fact, the one who brings it in is Dawson for out number 2. So an unproductive second out for the Otters. Has a runner on second with 2 outs as Justin Felix makes his way back up to the plate. A pretty even infield. I say that, and then the second baseman Dawson makes 5 big steps towards second base to apply a little bit of a shift for Justin Felix. First pitch to him. Push towards the right side, foul. Will actually end up all the way over towards the parking lot for a really long foul ball, strike 1. Taking a little extra time to hop up as Glickstein was wiping his eyes, and that looks like now he's ready for the 0-1. Pitch works high and inside, almost catches the hands of Felix. He's able to kind of twist out of the way in time, and this count evens up at 1 ball, 1 strike. Baez has himself a small lead out there on second. Now he takes a couple extra steps as the 1-1 goes home to Felix, and the pitch goes off of his check swing bat for a foul off Strike 2. Well, I keep saying it because it just never goes away. The breeze is staying consistent out to right center field, right center field. Somewhere in there over there, but that flag has stayed sideways almost the whole evening. A nice waving motion to it. The 1-2 to Felix. Swinging strike 3. It's foul tipped into the glove of Odo. And the top of the 6th is going to come to an end. The Otters cannot do anything with a leadoff single for Jeffrey Baez. And after 5.5, it's Otters 5, Schaumburg 0. Little extra long break there in the break of the 6th inning as they sang God Bless America here to celebrate Armed Forces Night here at Wintrust Field. Braxton Davidson takes a pitch outside, and now a pitch up high to go to a 2-0 count. Davidson, Wiley, and Craig all due up in the half inning for the Boomers. Defense playing with a pretty big shift to the right side. The 2-0. Ooh, just missing the zone was Gossman. Competitive pitch low and inside, but it's a 3-0 count now for Braxton Davidson, the leadoff man for the Boomers. Gossman has his sign and fires home on the 3-0. Called strike one right down the middle. That wasn't a gimme strike. That was certainly a strike. Gossman taking a couple seconds here before the 3-1. That one stays a bit outside for ball 4. Braxton Davidson's going to earn himself a leadoff walk to start off the 6th inning. It's going to bring up the right fielder, Jordan Wiley, who's 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground into double play thus far. Wiley playing right field this evening. He watched Steven Sinsley's home run go over his head. Waiting on the first pitch to him. Way inside, Gossman just struggling to find some consistency here to kick off the 6th inning. There is still a man warming up for Schaumburg out there. Again, hard to see his exact number. If I can figure it out, I'd let you know. One-0 the count to Jordan Wiley. Pitch coming home. Zoom towards Armstrong. A diving play to second for 1. To first. Oh my goodness. Just when you think Andy Armstrong can't make a play more impressive than his last, he does it again. 4-6-3, the ground into double play. And you might have to keep an eye out for that one next week in the top 10 plays of the week in the Frontier League. My goodness. Alec Craig now makes his way to the plate with the bases empty and 2 outs. Oh, 1 count for Craig. That one's going to stay a bit low for ball 1. Apologies if we lost you for a second there. Had a slight internet outage, just a couple of seconds here at the stadium. Seems to be all right now, though. A 1-1 to Craig. Zoom down the right field line. Will end up well foul. And it's a 1-2 count now. One ball, 2 strikes. With 2 outs and nobody on here in the bottom half of the 6th inning, following a wonderful play from Andy Armstrong. The 1-2, way outside. The count's evened up. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Craig is one of the best in the entire league when it comes to drawing walks. He's got 53 of them. The 2-2, way inside. The count's full. Evansville is looking for a strong closeout inning here for Gossman. He just needs 1 strike to end it. Three balls, 2 strikes to Alec Craig. Zoom to the right side, into the glove of Biermann for out number 3. We've played 6 full innings. Otters still lead by 5. Call to the bullpen needed for this Schaumburg team. Christian Scott is going to get the nod out of the bullpen. This call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Andy Armstrong at the plate to kick off the half inning. First pitch to him is a called strike on the outside edge. Christian Scott on the mound. Nick Odie behind the plate. Pitcher Catcher Battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Or give them a call at 812-475-9000. Armstrong sends one back into the netting to fall back to an 0-2 count. The 0-2 swung on and missed for a swinging strike 3 to kick off the inning. It's the first strikeout of the game for Armstrong.
Now batting for the Otters, number 9,
Elijah Mcnamee will come to the plate now. Mcnamee on the day, 1 for 2 with a single in the third and then a strange out as last time up where he said he got hit in the hands and he was showing that he had gotten hit in the hand, but the ball ended up in foul territory. They tagged him and he was called out. Regardless, he's looking at a 1 for 2 line and an 0-1 count right now. Oh, 1 to Mcnamee. He backs up a little bit. The count evens up at 1-1. The 1-1 to Mcnamee. And he was late to that swing. 1-2 now the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes for Elijah Mcnamee. Pushed it to the left side. It's off of the shoulder of the shortstop, Craig. He won't be able to recover from it. I would bet that he's going to reach on an error there. Wait to see exactly what it is, though. Regardless, McNamee's made it on base once again this evening, his 3rd trip to first so far. Zach Biermann making his way to the plate now. 1 for 3 with a double back in the 3rd, but his fly out last time up helped to move Andy Armstrong in a scoring position where he would score on a wild pitch. It is an error that allows McNamee to reach, an error on the shortstop. First pitch from Biermann, and he kind of fouls it off towards the dugout of Schaumburg. It's strike 1 for it. A little bit of a wait between pitches here now. Biermann's ready to go. Scott will send him on the 0-1. It's sent high and foul to the left side. We'll get out of play, though. Biermann digs back in, now looking at a 0-2 count with a runner on first. Oh, 2 to Biermann. Swinging strike 3 is in the dirt, and he'll sit down with a strikeout, the 2nd of the inning for the Otters.
Another Raising Cane's strikeout supporting the Anderson Humane Society.
It'll bring up J.R. Davis, who's 1 for 2, a RBI, 2 RBI single in the 3rd, and a walk in the 5th. One ball, no strikes for J.R. Davis. There's a runner on first and 2 outs for the Otters here in the top of the 7th. And stepping off is Scott. Again, we apologize for the technical difficulties happening right now. I was informed in the last half inning there are a couple internet issues happening in the stadium right now, and they were hoping that they would begin to go away. Davis takes a called strike, and his count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. The runner at first is Elijah Mcnamee. He's got a good lead. As Davis takes ball 2, a little bit low. Defense alignment is pretty much straight up all the way around. And another pitch stays a bit low. So Davis is going to take a bigger lead in the count, 3-1 now. Three ball, 1 strike for J.R. Davis. Hefty swing will send his count to full. 3 balls, 2 strikes now with 2 outs and a runner on first. Big pitch for Davis, trying to help extend the Otters' lead. The 3-2. Push to the right side. It'll end up on the hill. And oh, what a catch made by a fan out there. Stuck the glove out and brought it in. But since this is not Savannah Banana baseball, it does not count as out number 3. We'll try again on the 3-2. Stays inside. Davis is going to earn himself his 2nd walk of the day. That will put runners on first and 2nd with 2 outs and bring up Steven Sinsley, who has already found a pitch to drive out of here tonight. Otters lead by 5 here in the 7th inning. They scored their first 4 runs all the way back in the 3rd inning. 2 of them on a J.R. Davis 2-run single. The next 2 on a Steven Sinsley 2-run home run. And then the 5th run scored on a wild pitch as Andy Armstrong hustled home. First pitch to Sinsley here is a called strike on the outside edge. Taking his time to step back in is Steven Sinsley. He's ready to go on the 0-1. Scott delivers on the pitch, and it's a hefty swinging strike 2 for Sinsley. Swung right over the top of it. So this is an important pitch now for the hard-hitting first baseman Steven Sinsley, who this evening is the designated hitter. The 0-2 lifted high and mid-deep to left field, chasing in his heart in shallow left. He'll bring it in for out number 3. We've played the top half of the 7th inning. Time to stretch from Schaumburg. Otters lead by 5. Well, we've stretched in Schaumburg and we're ready for the bottom half of the 7th inning. Blake Grant Parks, Nick Odo, and Brett Milazzo all due up for the Boomers. Austin Gossman remaining steady up on the mound. He's out to do his 7th inning of work. As we enter this half inning, Gossman is sitting at 88 pitches, 56 being strikes. Not a bad ratio. He starts off with a swinging strike by Blake Grant Parks. He tried to hold up the swing, but he could not in time. Also going to take a look through the Fox Sports WYFX Frontier League scoreboard in this half inning. An 0-1 to Blake Grant Parks. Swinging strike 2. It was fouled back towards Felix. But as it being strike 2, it didn't matter too much. The Quebec Capitals hold a 2-1 lead against Empire State in the top of the 7th inning right now. That's game 2 of their doubleheader today, as they had to make up a game from earlier this season a little bit ago. 0-2 the count to Grant Parks. The pitch is on the way. And it stays outside for ball 1. The Lake Erie Crushers currently hold a 9-2 lead over the Joliet Slammers in the bottom of the 6th inning. Big game right now for the Crushers. And in the battle for the Garden State, the Sussex County Miners hold a 6-3 lead over the New Jersey Jackals. They're in the 5th inning right now. A 1-2 to Grant Parks. Swinging strike 3. The foul tip landed in the glove of Felix. And it is good for another German-American Bank strikeout. This is the 5th one of the day. It's the first one for Gossman since the 2nd inning. Final game going on right now. The Washington Wild Things hold a 6-4 lead at Gateway in Gateway's first responder and military nights. Gossman's dug in up on the bump. Fires home the first pitch to Nick Odo. High and outside for ball 1. Gossman had a little bit of a windup in the earlier stages of the game, a little step back. Right now, though, he's resorted to pitching pretty much exclusively out of the stretch. The 1-0. Putting in play to the right side. Armstrong will go over, pick it up. The throw over to first is in plenty of time. Could be a difficult play for a lot of second basemen. So Armstrong makes it look really easy, though, for out number 2. Brett Milazzo, the center fielder, makes his way to the plate now. He's 1 for 2 with a single and a fly out to left so far on the evening. Beautiful night for baseball, I'm telling you. Mid to upper 70s here from Schaumburg, Illinois. A little bit of a breeze all evening long as well. First pitch to Milazzo is just on the outside edge for a called strike 1. Gossman, he can retire Milazzo in the next 5 pitches, would be able to get through 7 full innings and under 100 pitches. Put on the ground to the left side. Khalil will pick it up on 3 hops. The throw to first is in time. Hefty throw from Khalil beats the runner there. And it's another 3 up, 3 down for the Otters defense. Gossman's gone 7 full innings, giving up no runs on 6 hits on only 95 pitches. Good to see from him. As we progress to the top of the 8th inning, worth noting, Gossman's gone 7 full and under 100 pitches. He's been efficient in these last few innings to really carve through the order well. Jeffrey Baez, Miles Gordon, and George Khalil due up in this half inning. Baez starts off with a called strike on the low outside corner. The 0-1 catches the zone on the low inside corner now. And he's down 0-2. There is a call to the bullpen. Tanner Shears has been brought in for the Boomers. That call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. The 0-2 for Baez, a swinging strike 3 on a pitch that took a really weird movement on him. He sits down with a strikeout, his first of the day. It's Shears on the mound. Odo behind the plate. That pitcher catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East. Located at 2319 North Green River Road. Give them a call at 812-475-9000. Miles Gordon making his way to the plate. 0 for 2 with a fly out to right, a fly out to left, and a sacrifice bunt so far in this one. First pitch is way inside for ball 1. Otters trying to pick up a game 1 win in the series here. The 1-0. The check swing from Gordon. They'll go check down with the third base umpire, Dominic Longbucco. He says no, he did not, so it's a 2-0 count. Looked good, but it must have stayed high. Gordon now takes a 3-0 lead. Catches the zone just a tad, and it's a 3-1 count now for Miles Gordon. The 3-1 sent foul back into the netting, and the count is now full. Three balls, 2 strikes for Miles Gordon. The pitch on the way, sent out towards shallow left, chasing in his Hart, and he will be able to bring it in for out number 2. I said shallow left, and then the ball just kind of hung up there and carried a little bit. Hart didn't have to make too much of a run by the end of it. So George Khalil is going to make his way to the plate with nobody on and 2 outs. Khalil's 0 for 3 with a ground out, a pop out, and a strikeout to his name. Tanner Shears nods at the pitch call from his catcher, sends the first pitch to Khalil. It's a called strike on the low inside corner. The changeup just caught the zone. Swinging strike 3 for George Khalil. Oh, and again, they put the wrong score up on the board. Or the wrong count. It was only an 0-2 now. So Khalil will have to compose himself quickly. He's going to step out before the 0-2 swing. The 0-2. That's a swinging strike 3, and George Khalil completes the 3-up, 3-down inning for Schaumburg. We've played through 7.5. Evansville still holding on to a 5-0 lead. Leadoff man Chase Dawson will get us started in the bottom of the 8th inning. 0 for 3 so far on his day. 2 strikeouts and a fly out to center field. His fly out to center field was well hit, but Miles Ward just was able to track it down. The first pitch from Gossman. Big curveball, stays high and outside. Gossman's thrown 7 scoreless innings, giving up 6 hits, but no runs yet. The 1-0. Stays a bit low and maybe inside as well. 2-0 the count quickly. So there's a little bit of a wait before the next pitch now. Gossman fires home on the 2-0 to Dawson. This one's lifted high, foul to the left side, will get well out of play. Ends up on the concourse over there. So the count's now at 2-1, still favoring the batter Chase Dawson. Ready on the bump is Gossman. The 2-1. Stays low, 3-1 the count. Gossman trying to keep himself close to the plate. Three-one. Hit sharply foul to the right side. Does get out of play. And it will result in a payoff pitch. The 3-2 to Chase Dawson. Headed home. Big curveball stays high and outside. And the leadoff man, Dawson, will reach on a walk.
Number 11, Solis.
That'll bring up William Solis. Solis has reached on one of his 3 opportunities with a single back in the 3rd inning. He grounded out in the 5th and was hit by a pitch back in the 1st. Does look like Augie Gallardo is going to start getting warmed up for the Otters down to the left field pin. First pitch of this at-bat by Gossman is a beautiful called strike right down the middle. Just steamed it by. No balls, 1 strike to William Solis. Gossman sends it home. Set on the ground to the left side. Played by Davis. To second for 1. To first. Is it in time? It is. A late call at first. And it's the 3rd ground and a double play by Schaumburg tonight. Score that one. 5-4-3. It's the 3rd time this evening the Otters have turned 2. And this season, the Otters have only done that one other time on June 1st versus the Lake Erie Crushers. First pitch to Mike Hart's a swinging strike 1. Anytime the Otters have faced issues, they've been able to bounce back well with strong pitching and even stronger defensive work. The 0-1 to Mike Hart. Swinging strike 2, hefty swing. Mike Hart digging back in. Bases are empty with 2 outs. The defense is all playing quite deep. And here comes the 0-2. Outside. Hart won't chase out there, so it's ball 1. think it's very possible if Gossman can grab a strikeout here, we'll see him in the ninth. The 1-2 coming home to Hart. Swinging strike three. A German-American baked strikeout ends the eighth inning, and we head to the ninth. Otters lead by 5. To the top of the ninth inning we go from Schaumburg, Illinois. Otters lead this game 5-0 behind the wonderful day from not only Austin Gossman on the mound, but his defense around him, who has turned 3 double plays. Jeffrey Baez gunned a man down from left field down there at home plate, his 5th outfield assist of the year. The Otters have just done a lot of things right defensively to keep things where they are and to help out Austin Gossman. So we head to the top of the ninth. Felix, Armstrong, and Mcnamee 2 up. Augie Gallardo has sat down, by the way, out in the pit. First pitch is a called strike to Felix, low and away. So it's possible that Gossman, and I think Gossman should probably come out to start off the ninth. It's looking more and more likely. The 0-1 to Felix. Zoom down the left field line. In fact, it almost grabs the manager, Andy McCauley. There's about 30 kids chasing after the ball out there in left field. Finally, one becomes the lucky one. Otters about lost their manager there for a second. Ball went screaming towards Andy McCauley. Oh-2 the count to Justin Felix. He lifts this one high, foul, out of play to the right side, and he will stay alive in the count at 0-2. Tanner Shears taking a couple extra seconds to get back up onto the mound. Ready to deliver home to Justin Felix, the 0-2. Felix sends it out towards shallow right field. Calling everybody off is Dawson, the second baseman, and he falls back to make the catch for out number 1. That'll bring up the second baseman, Andy Armstrong. He's 1 for 3 with a double back in the 5th inning, one that he crushed down the left field line. In fact, it ended up hitting the corner, the left field corner wall, all the way back there in the corner. He advanced to third on a sac fly from Zach Biermann and then scored on a wild pitch. That run right now is fairly insignificant. First pitch home, bounces in for ball 1. Otters and Boomers play once again tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Central Time. Make sure you set the alarm and, listen to us while you're at work. You can have the YouTube tab open in a back tab and keep up to date with your Otters while you're enjoying your Wednesday workday. Armstrong starts off with another pitch inside. He's ahead in the count 2-0. Next is on his way, and it's right back up the middle off the glove of Shears. Played by Dawson at second. The throw to first is in time. Went off the glove of Shears before Dawson was able to pick it up and throw it over. But it's still out number 2 no matter how you get it. That'll bring up Elijah Mcnamee with 2 outs and nobody on. Big hit Matt is 1 for 3, but he's reached base in 3 of his 4 opportunities. Once on a walk, once on a single, and once on an error. Official put out there for Armstrong is a 1-4-3. Mcnamee at the plate now. First pitch to him is a ball inside. Mcnamee could very likely be the Otters' last batter of the evening. A 1-0 coming home. Swinging strike 1 evens the count up. He was fooled on that slider, and what a pitch it was. So much movement there from Tanner Shears. A 1-ball, 1-strike count to Elijah Mcnamee. It's on the way home, and he lifts it up towards shallow center. And right there to make the catch is Milazzo for out number 3. We head to the bottom of the ninth, and down to their last 3 outs of the Boomers. They trail by 5. To the bottom of the ninth we go, and Austin Gossman and the Otters return to the field of play. Braxton Davidson, Jordan Wiley, and Alec Craig all due up for Schaumburg. Davidson taking a little extra time to get into the box. Gossman's already ready up on the bump. A nod to his catcher, Felix, and he's ready for pitch number 1. Stays high and outside, 4-1. No Otters currently warming up. Gossman's ready on the 1-0 to Braxton Davidson. Swinging strike 1 is even the count up at a ball and a strike. Gossman worked a pitch low and away, and Davidson went chasing. Defense set up pretty much straight up all the way around, except Armstrong's playing shallow right field. The 1-1 to Davidson. He bounces one right back over the head of the catcher and umpire behind home plate. And the count falls to 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes for the first baseman, Braxton Davidson. Be a nice out for Gossman to grab to kick off this 9th inning. The 1-2 lifted high, foul, out of play, back towards the street on the left side. Gossman looking for a solid performance here to hang his hat on. One, two, the count. Skied out towards left field. Baez back towards the wall at the warning track, and that one is gone. A solo home run from Braxton Davidson has ended Gossman's shutout here in the 9th. But the Boomers still have more work to do.
Now ready for the Boomers, right fielder number 32, Wiley.
Jordan Wiley making his way to the plate. Gossman was ever so close to his first career shutout. I'll have to wait on that one. First pitch to Wiley, called strike right down the middle. That 1 run doesn't mean too much because of the way that the defense had already backed up Gossman in this game. The 0-1 to Jordan Wiley. Cranked down the first base line. Nice play by Biermann. Falls out of his glove, though, and there's no play to be made over at first. He stopped that from going into what would have been really probably deep right field, but a man does get on because of it. So Alec Craig will make his way to the plate after there's back-to-back runners on. The first one being a home run and now a single. Runner at first and no outs. They are going to call that a single for Wiley. First pitch to Craig. Finally on the way. Called strike 1 right down the middle. Otters are set up in double play positioning. It looks like Logan Sawyer is starting to warm up for the Otters in left field. If another run scored, it would become a safe situation. Next pitch stays a hair low, and the count evens up at 1-1. The fans here at Wintrust Field trying to get behind their batters. Otters are trying to will Austin Gossman into these last 3 outs. The 1-1 falls low and outside. And the count expands to 2-1. Quebec has defeated Empire State 2-1. That game just went final, by the way. And in the top of the 8th, the Lake Erie Crushers have expanded their lead to 10-2 over Joliet. A 2-1 to Alec Craig. Sent towards Khalil on the ground to second for 1, to first, in time. And for the first time this year, the Otters have turned 4 double plays in 1 game. And that one might have just done the trick for this Otters squad. Nobody on, and down to their last out, Schaumburg's going to ask Blake Grant Parks to head to the plate. Defense set up deep in the infield just to expand their range. First pitch to Blake Grant Parks. Right back up the middle, through for a base hit. Tell you what, you could have had the best shortstop in Major League history and he wouldn't have gotten all the way over to that. That was just hard hit right back up the middle. A 2-out base hit for Grant Parks keeps the life alive for Schaumburg and brings up the catcher, Nick Odo. Nick Odo ready at the plate. Gossman composes himself and fires home the first pitch. Zoom down the right field line, and it's just foul. Oh, boy. Hard hit ball down that right field line, but it will not count for anything except very long strike one. No balls, one strike for Nick Odo. 2 outs and a runner on first in the bottom of the ninth. Gossman needs just one more out to finish this game up. The 0-1. Set on the ground to the right side. Armstrong goes over, makes the play. The throw to first in time. And Austin Gossman has thrown his second career complete game. What a performance from the former Screaming Eagle on the mound. Evansville wins this one 5-1. We will keep it right here for the post-game show here on the Otters Digital Network, as the Otters have ended their 2-game skid with a 5-1 win on the road here at Schaumburg. It all started in the third inning when the Otters, with 2 outs, got Mcnamee and Biermann on in back-to-back hits, a single and a double respectively. Then J.R. Davis's 2-run single scored the first 2 runs of the game. That ended up being the game-winning RBI. Then one batter later, Stephen Sinsley sent a 2-run home run over the right field wall and over the right field batting cage and probably over the fence as well out there. It went a long way, let's put it that way, and doubled the Otters' lead at the time to 4-0. A few innings later in the fifth, the Otters added one final run as Armstrong scored on a wild pitch. Otters expanded their lead to 5-0. That was enough for them to take the win here from Schaumburg on a beautiful Tuesday night for baseball here. Gossman's going to earn the win, obviously, and his second career complete game. Gossman advances to 4-2 this season, giving up 1 run on 9 hits across 9 full innings. He walked 2 and struck out 6. The 1 run he gave up was on a solo home run in the 9th inning. The loss will go to Aaron Glickstein, who gives up 5 runs on 7 hits in 6 innings of work. He walked 2, struck out 6 as well, also gave up 1 home run. Otters are going to hope to ride some positive momentum as they go into tomorrow for an 11 a.m. game. We're going to go through the Fox Sports WYFX Frontier League scoreboard one final time before we send you off. We'll go through the scores from this morning, too, once more as well. New York got a 23-8 win earlier today over Tri-City. Florence defeated Windy City 11-9 earlier today as well. And then in game 1 of their doubleheader, rescheduling a game from early June, Quebec defeated Empire State 7-4. In the 8th inning right now, Ottawa currently leads Trois-Rivières 12-9. A lot of scoring there north of the border. In game 2 of their doubleheader, Quebec defeated Empire State 2-1. In the top of the 8th, the Lake Erie Crushers currently hold a 10-2 lead over the Joliet Slammers. In the battle for the Garden State in the 6th inning, the New Jersey Jackals have a 7-6 lead over the Sussex County Miners. A big comeback there for New Jersey as we speak. And Gateway has come from behind to take an 8-6 lead over Washington in the bottom of the 7th. If Washington falls in that game, the Wild Things and Otters will be tied atop the West Division standings. That'll do it for our coverage here from Schaumburg, Illinois. The Otters get a big 5-1 win to kick off the 3-game road trip here. For all of us here at the Evansville Otters, I'm Matthew Will saying so long from Schaumburg, Illinois. I'll talk to you at about 10:50 tomorrow morning for an 11 a.m. first pitch here from Wintrust Field in Schaumburg, Illinois. Saying good night and so long. I'm Matthew Will. I'll talk to you tomorrow.